Welcome to my weekly live stream. Looks like maybe we don't have as many people on today. I don't know about all of you, but we have had a ton of snow here and there is more coming, not a ton, maybe a few inches tonight. So I would love for you to introduce yourself and where you're at. I see some familiar faces. Hello, Charles. I know that you're in Chicagoland. But if you want to post your name and your location, I would love to say hello. And feel free to tell us, the weather. I'm a super weather freak, so I absolutely love learning about the weather in everyone's area. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. So I've gotten a lot of questions. Oh yeah, so go ahead and post. I do have the chat open. I would love to learn where you are located. If you're watching us live in the group, please feel free to say hello and also your location. That would be great. And I'll just wait a couple minutes for that, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Can everyone hear me? Hi, Sadak. How are you? Okay, Lulu, Florida. I know that, yes, I think it's even chilly in Florida right now. Yes, Charles. Hopefully, I think the city didn't get any snow. Uh, Ed, oh, hey, Ed. I was meaning to email you today. I'm going to do that later today or maybe tomorrow. It depends. I want to make sure we have food for this more snow that's coming. It is cold, but no snow. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I decided to do these interior and exterior photos right now because I've actually gotten a ton of questions on this over the last several weeks. What do you do? How do you go about this? So you may not think that it's that important, but it really is. And so I'm glad that all of you are tuning in today. So today's specifically dedicated to interior and exterior photos. Probably won't be a long live stream, but I'm going to go over what I do for different scenarios. And then as I'm doing that, if you have any questions maybe about this or a past live stream or a suggestion for a live stream, please go ahead and post it in the chat. And at the end, I'm going to tell you what's going to be happening in a couple of weeks. I'm doing something brand new. And I'm very, very, very excited about it. And I do think you will as well. So let me share my screen and we will go ahead and get started. I made a small PowerPoint. If you want access to it, I can certainly give you access. But yeah, it's really no big deal. This is more like you're probably going to remember everything I say or write it down. Or again, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. All right, so interior and exterior photos, and really all of the frequently asked questions I get when it comes to this. And so I have really three different areas. So when to hire a professional, when to take them on your phone, and then when not to take them. So again, I get these questions all the time. So I really wanted to make this a weekly training for all of you. So when you come across this situation, you're going to think back to this training and be like, oh yeah, I remember what Heather said. All right, so when to hire a professional photographer. So let's go into that. I think I've said many times before, inside of my coaching program, my membership, we do teach all of our members to get as much due diligence up front as possible. The goal is to go to the home one time and handle everything there, and then come back to your home office or your office and do all of the listing, the social media, the calls to the banks, all of that there, okay? And so really though, you can't determine just from talking to them what you're gonna do with photos. So that is always a big question mark in my head before I go to these listings. You can't really determine that until you actually walk through the home. So when I go to the listing, and if you missed last week, we did a pre-listing prep. Shoot me a message on Facebook or an email, and I'd be happy to give you that recording. It's also in our guide section of the group. I can show you that afterward as well. So before I go to the home, I have everything prepped, but I never know, again, the condition, okay? And so that's the first thing I do when I get to the property. I ask them to walk me through the home. You want to know what's wrong. It's still going to be an as-is sale, but let's talk about good condition. So everyone's definition, anyone have a situation like this before where maybe they were like, yeah, it's in good condition, and you walk there and it's like, oh my gosh, it is not. Anyone have that situation before? I'm sure you have. If you haven't and you're taking on this niche, you absolutely will go through that eventually. So, like I said, everyone's definition of a good condition is different. Let's see. I think there's a comment. Absolutely, yeah. So let's talk about good condition. If you go to the property, and there's a lot of people that are in foreclosure, there may be some deferred maintenance, but overall they're keeping up with the property. It does happen. I've taken on some really beautiful homes that were facing foreclosure. So when I walk through the property and I determine that, so good condition to me, to hire a professional photographer would be okay. I could probably sell this as a traditional sale. Obviously, you can't because it's in a distressed situation, but that's when you would want to hire a photographer. Okay. And so if I go through and it's great, maybe there's one room that's not so good, or they're using that as like a staging area for their boxes or moving or all that, that is okay. Just skip that room. But if you walk through and it's like, all right, this property, it looks pretty dang good. I would then hire a professional photographer. So that means like, okay, I'm going to this property. I'm still going to get, good morning, Diana. Let us know if you have any questions. Hopefully it's warm in California. I'm going to still take all of the paperwork, all of that, okay? And then I'm going to send my photographer out there. I have a pretty good relationship with them. So if you do, you don't need to go back. Maybe you want to, and you can, but I do not attend those sessions. And so what is my big no-no? Anyone have an idea? You may know this, you may not. So if you deem that the property is good for a professional photographer, please, please do not ask your sellers to pay for those photos. That is a big no-no. If you've been in this live streams for a while in my group, I've always said, like, take your traditional thinking cap off and put on your distressed sales thinking cap, okay? These homeowners are going through so much hardship. I spoke to a lady yesterday where her son has leukemia. He's so sick and ill, and her husband disappeared on her. And so, she has no money. You can use it as a write-off. So please pay for those photos. Do not ask them to pay for anything up front. Another thing that I've said before, if you're at a brokerage where there is a listing fee, I do not believe in those. So if you're at that brokerage, I would go to your managing broker and explain to them that you're trying to get into this niche, or you've been in this niche, and you really don't feel comfortable asking the sellers for that listing fee. They may waive it. I've had some brokerages waive that. My current brokerage does not have any listing fees. Yeah, so if you send me an email, and I'll post my email in a second, then my team can get that to you. That's something you're going to have to consider. So I was at a brokerage many years ago, and their listing fee, I can't remember, like, let's just say it was $350. I ended up paying like 10 grand worth of listing fees because I could not sleep at night if I actually asked these sellers to pay for that. That's like crazy. I'm a firm believer in that these sellers that are facing foreclosure should not have to pay for anything. And so I left that brokerage. So just something to keep in mind, okay? So my big no-no is really asking the seller to pay for those photos. Does that make sense? Any questions there? I'm going to pause to put my email in the chat. You could feel free to unmute yourself, or you could always post the questions. I'm just going to check the live feed because sometimes there's questions and I miss that. All righty. So let's move on. So when do I take photos with my phone or a camera? So most people have a pretty good camera on their phone now. So I would say a majority of the time I am taking photos with my actual phone. Okay. Um, the reason why is because in a distress situation, there are so much deferred maintenance, and a lot of times it's just not well kept. Okay. So I don't want to bring in a professional photographer to pay when the property is, not in rough shape. We'll talk about rough shape in a second. But really these houses and these homes that, it really needs like a super deep cleaning. There's, stuff all over the place, not a clean kitchen, whatever it may be. Those types are going to be for your phone. Okay. It's not in the greatest condition. It's okay, but it's not professional photography worthy. Does that make sense? And so, just so all of you know, I still take a front photo of the property, regardless of the situation. So that way I can market it about, 24 hours prior to the listing going up. So always take a front photo, okay? Um, Working with the short sale, do you have to have lots of money? You mean, like Diana, do I have to have lots of money to do these short sales? Is that what you mean? Yeah, so I would say no, you do not. You do not have to hire a professional photographer. In fact, if the property is in great condition, you don't have to do a photographer. I'm at the place in my business where that's what I do. So I always like to tell you guys all of my situations and what I do. You do not have to have a ton of money. You don't. So you don't have to pay for a photographer, but please don't ask your sellers to pay for one, okay? Now, as a real estate agent, you do need write-offs. So if it is in good condition and you can afford to pay the photos, it is a write-off for you, okay? Because you have to pay ahead before the seller refunds you. I'm not quite understanding that question. The seller should not be refunding you for anything. No, no repairs are made. In a short sale situation, all properties are sold as is. You are not, who's asking us? Hold on. Diana, you are not making the repairs. Your seller is not going to make the repairs. The bank is not going to make repairs. The bank is not going to give a credit for repairs. Okay. So there's no money out front for you to do anything. It's just not. Now you're going to need money you have to spend money to make money. What do I mean by that? Well, you're going to have to get deals. So, you got to send out letters and build relationships with attorneys and, that sort of thing. But no, you should not be making repairs. I think you're getting it confused with REOs. So if you are an REO agent, and I've done a handful of REOs. I don't love them because the REOs help the bank, and my passion lies with helping the homeowner. But in an REO situation, a lot of times you have to put the utilities in your name. You have to pay to have it cleaned out, that sort of thing, and then they reimburse you there. So I think that's where you're confused. So if I didn't answer that properly and you have another one, just let me know. So again, that's the photos with your phone or your camera. I would say a majority of the time, and if you're new and you don't have a ton of money to pay for professional photos, it is okay to do this. Okay. These sellers that are going through these hardships, they're not going to really care. They're not. They ultimately just want you to hold their hand through the process and help you and have you help them avoid foreclosure. Okay. So when do I not take photos? Okay, so this is the last slide. Again, this live stream is going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but I do have a pretty big announcement that is coming, and so I wanted to make sure I had a few minutes to do that. So not taking photos. You always should take that front photo, right? But there are many, many times where my MLS just shows a front image of the property. The times that I do not take interior photos is if it's in a severe condition. So, for example, I have seen houses in a hoarder situation so bad In fact, I did one in a town that's 20 minutes from me. This was a few years ago. A $5,000 square foot home. And you could not see the floor, the walls, or the ceiling in any three levels, basement, main, or second. I obviously did not take any interior photos, okay? Another situation would be like maybe a massive amount of mold or water damage. And so those severe situations, I just take a front photo. And then, a lot of times agents will ask, well, why didn't you take any interior? Be honest, let them know, hey, here's the situation. I believe most places want you to disclose that there's mold. So make sure you check with your managing broker about that. Now, there are some cases where, maybe it is a hoarder situation in a couple of different rooms, but the kitchen's okay. Well, take a front photo and then a kitchen photo and just put up two. The reality is we as distressed experts, we're in a different niche. This is not a traditional sale. We're not going to take high-end photos. We're not going to do all of this. It is very, very different. Okay. So let me know what questions you have about interior and exterior photos, conditions, all of that, okay? I want to open it up for some Q&A. And so let me just see. There's no questions there. Okay, so Diana, how often do you give Zoom meeting? This is my first one. Oh, welcome. So I am live inside of this group every single Thursday at this time. And so usually I will create a post about 24 hours prior to the actual meeting of what that particular training is going to be. And so, like I said, last week was the short sale listing prep. So I can give you that. So if you're new and you see this is our group, you can always go to the past trainings. So if you click the guide section, here are our past recordeds, okay? So you could always go here, Diana. So here is the link right here. And we have tons and tons and tons of different live streams, okay? So every single week, it's something new. Website, are you a part of the Facebook group? Hold on, Ed. Yeah, see, Diana, I see you in here. Yeah, you are right here. So let me just, I'm going to post a link to the group. There's the link to the group. I'm encouraging everyone to turn on notifications. So when you're in the group right here, if you click the three little dots, which is on the right-hand side of the screen over here, and you click manage notifications, make sure you have all posts selected. That way you know when something new comes up. So we do post quite often in the group. I'll give different scenarios. I'll give free stuff. I talk about my membership program. But on Wednesdays, I always post the anticipation of what the live stream is going to be for the next day. I also send out an email for everything as well. So you are in that group. So I would just get more active in the group. Okay, so Ed, how many of your sales are to an individual using a 2 or 3K loan? I don't do a ton of those. So I think what you're saying is like, okay, maybe I have 10 short sale listings right now, and maybe 3 of them are in really rough shape. You have to say no financing allowed, cash only, but maybe you could get a 203K loan. I have done them in the past, and you probably could get it done, but I don't deal with them a ton. Is that what you're asking, Ed? If you want to post, you can clarify. You're welcome, Diana. Yeah, there's so much great information in this group. And there's a lot of awesome stuff to come as well. So, Ed, did I answer your question? Perfect. Okay. Any other questions about the group, past trainings, photos, any you want to ask? Otherwise, I'm going to tell you what's to come. And you'll be the first. There's not a ton of people on this live stream this week, but you'll be the first to know. Just the training? Yeah. Okay. So usually I have the next few weeks always planned, but I don't disclose that until right before because you never know with changes. However, I have a huge live stream coming. So 2 weeks from today, not next week, 2 weeks from today is going to be February 1. Can you believe that the first month of January is almost over? You do not want to miss that live stream, okay? During that live stream, I am going to be announcing a huge contest that is going to be running for the month of February. I cannot give specifics yet, but I do want to get you all excited about it. Again, this is not something you want to miss. So come on that live stream. I'm going to talk about the contest. I'm going to reveal it. I'm going to tell you what's involved. It is easy. All of you can participate. And the reward, the grand prize, is going to be really, really, really cool. So that's coming in 2 weeks. But be on the lookout. Again, every single Thursday we are live in the group. And then on Fridays, like if you miss it, I don't release the actual replay in the guide section for a few days. But on Fridays, I will release the replay, so you can be on the lookout for that. Again, an email goes out as well. Any questions? Okay, cool. So I will see all of you next week, but definitely, so I can give you the PowerPoint if you guys want. I didn't do this one because it wasn't in depth, but let me just post let me post it for you, the link. Hold on a second. Okay, so here's the chat. Ed, I'm going to send you an email. Be on the lookout for that. I'll message you on Facebook after I send it just to make sure it didn't go to spam. Otherwise, I hope to see all of you next Thursday. I'm also posting my email again. If any questions come up, feel free to email me, or you can private message me on Facebook. And then please, I'll show you in just a second, Diana. Please make sure you keep February 1st in your calendar. It's going to be a huge day. This contest is something I've been working on since before the new year. So I think all of you are going to be really thrilled about it. All right, so let me just share my screen one more time and show you where you can find all of the trainings. So this is my group. Again, you should all be a member of this group. If you're not, go in and request membership. For all of the past trainings, you can go to the guide section at the top. Now, if you're trying to do this on your cell phone, I'm not 100% sure. My best advice is to do it on your computer or laptop. Go to the guide section and click past recorded live streams. And all of them are right here. So Diana, there's the short sale listing prep. At the end of the year, I did a huge promotion for the program. Short sale myth debunked, 3 pillars to thriving wildly. All of this stuff, lots of trainings, and more to come. Does that help? All right, so thank you everyone for attending. Be on the lookout. The February 1st live stream will definitely be registration required, just because it's so huge. So be on the lookout for that, and hope all of you have a blessed day.
All right.
Thank you.